Welcome to Seeing Dead People, the slow burn storytelling podcast where our host, Nicola, challenges her psychic friend Darcy.
Well, I was showing some friends the other day your tarot cards, your new deck.
Okay.
Called Toby's Tarot. And they were very intrigued by of course, the tarot deck, which I'm intrigued by myself since I know nothing about tarot cards. But they just wanted to know, what pushed you to put it together and how did you decide on your images and what's the plan for the deck? That's what they were kind of keen on knowing.
Okay, well, what pushed me, I've always wanted to have my own tarot deck, but Toby had died a little over 5.5 years ago. Toby's a cat, so people know. He's an orange tabby.
Yeah.
He came to me when I was sick with cancer, so he helped me through cancer, and I wanted to do something to make him always around me.
Nice.
Whenever someone picks up the deck and they see Toby, he's a big red cat on the box as well as inside the deck. And I just wanted him to be honored for the service he gave me.
Nice.
And so, but I didn't realize I was going to use Toby. I had been trying to make it very much like a traditional, people on the deck sort of idea.
Yep.
And then I think I've been working on this deck for 3 years and I'd have an idea and nope, not what I'm looking for. It wasn't clicking. And one day I woke up from sleeping and I went, I know what I'm doing. So Toby, most of the cats in here I've owned. I did have to get some
stock image
of Snowball, the white one in the cups. The other and Rusty, because I didn't have a picture of Rusty, but Merlin and Venus and Moonlight and Shadow. Moonlight and Shadow are still alive. And then I would duplicate some of the pictures just so that I could use the same cat. If people they look identical. And I just started putting it together and it literally rolled together by itself. And so in between readings and my day job and weekends, I would put it together. It took me, I think, 7 months to actually get it all together because it gets a little tiring.
Oh gosh, yes.
And just the idea and concept, because keeping in mind what each card represents. But with my cards, I realized that as I did them, they don't always represent what traditional tarot cards represent. So I had to sort of keep that in mind. And a lot of the photography you see in there is my own, where I've been taking pictures of. Some of it I did have a little help with. And and the eagles in the deck, the birds all represent something. And I originally did not make a booklet for it, but I am working on the booklet for the tarot deck as we speak. I was working on it before we came online together. And so I am making a booklet. So when people look at it, they sort of can understand a little.
Oh,
and
good.
So anyone who has a book, they'll get either by email, they'll get the booklet or whoever has the deck. And if I have their email, they'll get the booklet by email.
Okay, because I was that you just took a question of mine right out from under me. I was going to ask you, I'm just looking, there's like 72 of these, right? 72 cards.
78.
78 cards. So that's a heck of a lot of cards just to start with. Then each card has, it seems to me, multiple images as part of the card's overall image. So very complicated visual image for you to produce on a computer. So you had to, come up with, what are you going to say for strength? What are you going to say for the sun? What are you going to say for the 7 of coins? What are you going to say for the page? Oh, the page of cups is so cute. The little white kitten is unreally so beautifully cute.
Actually, I was working on him today, and I'll tell you what I said. Just a minute. Let me bring up my Word doc.
Please do.
And I'll tell you, because I'm on the cups right now, I think I just basically finished them before we made contact. So the page of cups is a kitten exploring new opportunities presented, a friend whispering in his ear. That's the hummingbird.
Yeah.
Just around the corner. The eagle stands for freedom, intelligent, loyalty, and intuition. It is a water element card, which is Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And the meaning here for me is youth, exploration, happiness, sensitivity, and intuition.
Okay, so the whole series of cups, if I can call it that, all relate to the white cat. Is that right?
It
Okay.
it wasn't intentional. I actually didn't realize that I used the white cats all the way through the cups. Okay. Didn't realize that until after they were printed. And cups are emotions. Cups are purity. Cups are ideas. And so when I think of the white cat, I think it's appropriate because white is purity, white is innocence.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. And so I like the idea. I didn't know that. Do normally when tarot cards are sold, they are sold with an accompanying booklet that explains them?
Yes and no. You
Oh,
don't have to have the booklet in. Okay. But since a couple of people have talked to me about it, and I thought maybe it would be a little better to have the booklet for people to understand. Like that's briefly what I put for that one. You asked about number 8, strength.
yep.
And let me just, because 10, number 8, strength is, I just said she lays with her kittens. I should put the white cat lays, which is Snowball. Snowball lays with her kittens in the grass with butterflies moving around them. The strength of a single parent is undaunting. There is faith when others can see none. You have the ability to remain calm, resourceful, and strong, even when your life is going through immense struggle.
Cool. What are the running shoes in the foreground for?
The running shoes is just going to be my trademark because there used to be, I like the mouse. He's white because, again, innocence, the exploration mice are harmless unless you get them in your walls. But the running shoes is a standing joke because when I used to date, I would say to people, don't get serious. I have running shoes. So it's just a standing joke for myself.
Okay, so that's kind of your little iconic logo
Yeah.
for yourself. That's cool. Okay, yes, I see the running shoes are everywhere on every card. But it must have been, I just can't imagine the amount of work going into these cards. And as you say, you went for 3 years to come up with just the overall, finally decide on the concept. Once you nailed the concept, it came through fairly quickly. But you have to have a intimate knowledge. Obviously, you do. You're an expert in this stuff and a professional, but you have to have an intimate knowledge of what the 78 cards mean, right? And then take that knowledge and interpret it into what you want to have as your imagery for the cards, and then create some blurb about it so that it all sounds sensible for those of us who know nothing about it.
Okay, so this is when I finally admit to the fact I have never read an entire book on 78 cards. Never. Okay.
All right.
I fortunately have friends who are intuitive and we used to do the cards together and find our meanings. The idea behind tarot cards is they're supposed to draw a picture. So that's what I tried to do with these, is draw a picture. So if you put the Ace of Swords next to the King of Cups, next to the Two of Swords, you know that you're trying, you could go to your parents and ask a question. You're starting a new life. You need to learn how to communicate. You need to learn to tell the truth. So I know swords are communication. I know cups are emotions. I know wands are work. And I know pentacles are money. And the major ones I've read. because to me, I need to know them. But as for the rest, I just take that one meaning and I work everything out from it.
Well, I can understand that because you're the one reading the cards.
Yeah,
So when you take a card like temperance, because I just pulled it out, it's what temperance means to you.
that's right. That's what I want to do with this deck is I didn't want people to automatically go to what I wrote about it. I wanted you to look at the deck, you to look at the card and feel what it's about. Okay, so look at temperance right now
Right?
and describe the card.
Well, we have a lovely stone walkway over some water. And in the foreground, we have a raven, I think, carrying maybe a vase, a little vase, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, which we might be pouring from, a little green vase. Coming up behind him is our lovely cat, Toby, making his way along this path, life path, I don't know. And in the background is a sunflower and some lovely green, very rich greenery. So this temperance, this is kind of a challenging one because temperance is a tough one to explain. So how would you explain that?
Well, first of all, does the red cat have a big white patch on his chest?
No, you can't see that. He's just walking and he looks like he's got quite a nice little white mouth.
Okay.
No,
I actually think that's Rusty.
okay, so that's not Toby. Okay.
Yeah, but that's okay. Toby could still be it. But
Okay.
is temperance is patience.
Okay.
Listen to your surroundings. If you were walking on that and weren't paying attention, you could fall into the water, right?
Absolutely.
He's being distracted. There's the raven pouring his milk for him. He could rush through the stones, trip and fall, or he can be patient, find his balance, understand that his emotions are his intellect to understand. Don't rush through something. If you rush, you're not going to achieve what you're looking for.
Excellent. Yeah, I get that completely. When I see that, that's really nice. But okay, so just keeping along this one example because it's such a fine example. What came to you first when you say temperance? You think patience. Okay, good, patience. Woo-hoo. How do you represent patience in imagery with a cat and other creatures? How did you come to this final image?
Okay, because the water, I've actually been on those water steps.
That's at Bushard, right?
Yes, it is. And
Yeah.
I was on them one day and someone came rushing past me and like literally stepped to where I was. And I could have fallen in if
Absolutely.
I didn't have balance. Yes,
Okay.
it was just a kid, but pushed me the wrong way, I'd be in there. And so then I thought, okay, if you're walking, because the idea of those steps is each step for me, the idea for me is each step you take, you're thinking about where you're going.
Okay.
Right? You're projecting ahead of yourself. So having the cat walk along the stones and the bird distracting him because the milk is being poured. Here you go. You're almost there. You can have this, but you got to get there without falling.
Okay, but where did you get the idea of a bird pouring a jug of milk into a saucer to attract and distract a cat?
Because birds, right? Cats want to chase birds.
Right. Okay, good.
And that's where I got the image in the milk and everything just came at the same time. It was just like these pictures being painted in your head without you realizing it.
So do you think you actually saw this entire image in your head as it laid out almost here, as best you could do it in your head? And that's why it looks like it is now? Or did you go, I'll put the path and then
Nope.
I put them on the path? And
once I looked at the word temperance, and no, for me, it means patience.
Yep.
I had to find something that a cat would want to rush through, something a cat would not do. Okay. If most cats would not walk along that because of the
No, that's true.
So what can a cat do that would cause it to want to rush? The bird, distraction.
Yep.
Milk, distraction. And so then and I had, the only image I had in front of me was the one of the stones in the water. And then it's like, which cat do I use? And I didn't have a picture of Toby walking, but I was able to find a picture that looked like Rusty, and he was walking. So then it was just building from there.
That's cool. I like that, and it works really well, and especially as you're talking, and I'm able to explore the image a little more now that I can have some time on it. I can see the saucer and the jug of milk and the raven about to pour it and the cat concentrating on it and not wanting to fall off. That's really nice. Yeah, I'm really impressed. So, were you able to then? You must have been an expert in some kind of computer-aided design software. How did you put this all together?
No, thank God. And I use Canva.
Oh, okay, good. And it was still workable though. It's computer-aided design.
Very workable.
So you would highly recommend Canva then for your these kinds of nifty imagery.
Well, there's so many different ones out there, but Canva I could understand because I was presented through my daughter with Photoshop, with other ones, and I didn't understand. Like, I'm not as artistic as her, so I needed something that was easy for me to use, and I found Canva was the easiest.
Absolutely. So then you had to get to know Canva a little bit, which I've used a bit. So as you say, it's a good program. It's not that complicated. And then did you, for every one of your 78 cards, you had one image, one file of Canva for that card?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you had to come up with like the layout, the size, the comparison of the creatures to the butterfly, to the cat, to the background, all that stuff you had to take into mind?
Yes, and thank God for my daughter, because she's the one that said, keep in mind perspective.
Yeah.
And so she would coach me. She's the one at the end of the day, after it was all done, I sent it to her. She polished it off for me, put in all the wording.
Oh,
and
good.
then from there, we sent it to a company in the US. And if I'm allowed to say their name, I'd like to say they are a fantastic company, women owned. Mr. Playing Cards. Okay.
Mr. Playing Card.
Yeah. And
okay.
Then we sent them the proof, and then it did not take them very long once we decided on everything. I had it probably within 6 weeks. So, I mean, and you can tell the quality of the cards are really, really good. I'm really impressed with what they did.
Yes, they're very, very attractive, very solid looking, very professional looking cards. The whole shoot match is very professional looking. And I want to congratulate you, because it's a real effort to do this. It's like writing a friggin' novel, and not to mention having to actually produce something yourself. So it's like self-publishing, another big event to undertake. So a lot of work on your part. And now, what are you going to do with the cards?
Well, when I do a psychic fair, I've given some cards to people that I really wanted them to have something of mine, because if you go through the cards, I don't know if you have the 3 of Swords there.
I will. I just have to find, where's the swords in the pile here? Justice, Temperance, Tower, Star, coins. Then we have swords, cups, coins, cups, swords. Okay, 3 of Swords. There it is.
Okay, wow. Now I want you to look at that card really carefully and tell me something that stands out for you. And you'd have to actually search in this card to see it.
Okay. I'm going to put on a pair of glasses so I can see a little bit better. Okay, so what I see is quite a remarkable image. We have close-up of driftwood. We have your cat lounging a little bit sort of a center ground. He's got an image of you. Is that it? In a little heart.
Because Toby was so close to my heart that I wanted to put something in there that Toby knows if he's ever looking down, because I'm a firm believer pets can see us as well on the other side. He knows just how much he meant to me.
That's so cool. And then above him, hovering in the air, are is a heart, which is sort of supported by three swords, the Three of Swords. Is the Three of Swords normally having to do with hearts?
It does.
Oh.
And this is a Esquimalt beach on a good,
Ah,
okay. And the Three of Hearts, for me, now for other people, it's going to be totally different. But this is just before Toby died. Okay, this was one of my last pictures of Toby. And the Three of Hearts represents death for me. It always has.
wait, you're saying Three of Hearts. You mean Three of Swords?
Sorry, Three of Hearts. Or
Three of-
Three of Swords, yeah.
Okay.
Three of Swords. It's always represented death for me when I do the tarot cards, and it can be death as in a person dying. It can be death in an idea, death of a friendship. So I just thought it was appropriate to use Toby's last few days using this card.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I love that. And then you've got, it looks like a peregrine falcon, not, or maybe a red-tailed falcon in the left.
Yes, it is a actually, yes, it is a hawk, actually.
Okay.
And a hawk is about seeing beyond the veil. So like a clairvoyant.
Okay. So I think that's looks like a red-tailed hawk, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an awful lot in the image.
Yeah.
I never knew that I figured, like, I guess my understanding of tarot cards was there was a card of death, for example. And as you said, death could be many things, but it would just be either a skeleton or an upside down body or somebody hanging from a yardarm or something. It wouldn't be a complicated image. It wouldn't be more than just a single image happening there, but you've got a whole story going on in all your tarot cards.
And if you actually look at the death card in the major, I think it's number 13.
Okay.
You'll see Toby. But the idea of death isn't that you're dying in the death card, even though society and Hollywood wants to use that. What it is about being pulled in different directions and realizing there's so many different friends and acquaintances around you that may need your attention, that may need your ability to listen. Okay.
That's what it means.
That's what it means for me. Now, there are people who will lay the death card and say, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but if you look at the one I did, Toby originally was sitting on his urn, which I did take a picture of, and you'll see him reach up and there's a door, and on the door is, I believe, a hawk. We've got all the other cats in the graveyard with him with candles and the other birds. And what this is looking back and realizing that sometimes those people that you need support from, they are there, but maybe they have their own life. They have their own destiny to fulfill, but it doesn't mean you stop thinking about them.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, I can see you're in a graveyard with the birds, cats, the door. I think it's a little owl at the top of the door and the earth behind us on the upper left. So it's an indication of all the love and support that you have around you, but you don't necessarily know it's always there.
That's right.
And that's what death means to you.
Yeah, because you think about it, people die, right? And it's not about the person who's dead. It's about all these people that are out here that are willing to help, but we push them away because we feel that we shouldn't burden other people. And that's what that card represents to me, is that the burden is carried by those who care about you.
Well, that's lovely. Well, these are obviously incredibly personal for you and personalized to you. Could another tarot card reader, psychic, whatever one would have called them with talent,
Absolutely.
would that be able to use them, and would they come up with something totally different than you?
They should come up with something totally different than myself. And that's the idea behind the cards without the book, is you have to look at these cards and find what resonates with you.
Okay. And is that the same with all tarot cards?
Well, it should be, but it's not. There are cards out there with books. People explain everything. I don't know if you can see this. I have to put it in front of me to do it.
What one is it?
This is the King of Swords.
Okay.
Now, the King of Swords, he's, again, Bushire Gardens.
Yeah. I
He's,
see it. I've got it.
okay, you see all the money around him and the jewels and the swords to the side. Well, the idea of this is he's enjoying his wealth. He's enjoying the energy around him. He's got the bird, the hawk with his crown, and he's busy looking off, and he could be imagining what his day should be like. He could be imagining that maybe I don't have enough wealth and I need to bring more towards me. We don't know. It depends on what's put next to the card that will define exactly what this card represents. And no, I haven't actually finished that one yet, so I don't know where I'm going to lead with the swords, but it's about communication. Okay. Like the way he's holding on to his money, it's like he's afraid. But the matter is, normally the King of Swords is someone who's older, a little more wise in his ways. He's going to help you make a decision. And maybe this guy is a financial planner. Maybe he's going to tell you how to put your money away. Okay. So that's the basis of the swords, is all about communication. And because I've got money there, it could be a financial planner who's giving you an idea of, don't waste your money, don't throw it on the ground, cherish it.
Neat. Okay, well, I've kept you a long time, and I don't want to keep it longer, but two things. Number one, where would interested people be able to purchase your deck?
They can reach out to my website and just notify us if they're interested, and we'll need an email or a phone number, and then we can set it up.
And your website is readingsbydarcy.com, correct?
Yes.
Okay, second question, and you feel free to say no way. Could we, in the next few sessions, go through the groupings of cards and talk, as you just said, what do swords mean, what cups mean, what do the wands mean? Would you mind doing that to get a better understanding? Because I think it's quite a fascinating whole entity, this idea of tarot cards, and then there's a real journey happening in these 78 cards. It's amazing. Yeah,
we can do that.
Okay, cool. All right then. Well, I shall thank you again for today. Very fascinating stuff. Neat. Congrats again on your cards. They are really lovely, and I'm really proud to have a copy myself, or a deck, I guess is a proper terminology.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Seeing Dead People, where goosebumps are guaranteed. We would love to hear from you with questions for Darcy about her psychic process, or suggestions for other mystifying situations you would like us to investigate. Please shoot us an email to info@radiosidney.ca with Seeing Dead People in the subject line. New episodes air on our website, radiosidney.ca, on the first Saturday of every month. Episodes repeat Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., both Pacific time. All episodes are available as downloadable podcasts at our website or on our YouTube channel, Nicola Furlong Mysteries. I'm Dorian Mortis, weirdly keen on seeing dead people. This has been a presentation of Radio Sydney.